Howdy folks, Matt here with Andrea and Gus in the corner of the camera. You might be able to see him. Today we are going to bust out a back workout. This back workout is designed to help with your posture, your stamina, localized stamina in your upper posterior, and to also build a lot of tension and therefore support building muscle with little to no equipment. In this case, all you need are a few bands. 2 to 3 bands will do you justice, and we'll also incorporate some equipment-free work here. So the way this back workout is going to be structured, we've got 3 components. So this is a pulling or a back tricep, 3 exercises in a row for each set. Oh, there goes Gus. Yep, he wants to be on the expensive yoga mat. Oh yeah, he's a booger. So each round or each tricep will consist of first an isometric component, a prone isometric shoulder raise, where Andrea is facing down on the yoga mat, and she lifts her arms using her entire upper back in a certain manner, different variation each time, for 20 to 30 seconds. That's an isometric hold working on static strength. So that's kind of the buy-in to pre-fatigue her back muscles. Then she'll spin around, sit up, and go into a rowing variation using 2 bands, a heavier band to anchor and a lighter band as handles. We'll bust out a set of medium to high volume with the seated row variation, and then we'll finish each tricep with a smaller band pull variation. That's kind of a burnout exercise for that set. So we've got those 3 components to each round. We're going to run through 4 different rounds. In between each round, Andrea is going to take anywhere, based on her performance and her level of fatigue accumulation, 3 to 8 breaths. And for Andrea, her breaths, she's an advanced yogi practitioner. Her breaths, even under fatigue, can last a long time, so she'll probably be at the lower end of the spectrum, 3 to 5 breaths. But in general, 3 to 8 breaths is what I would prescribe, and that's to keep the time under tension high for this back workout. Remember, if we're trying to support building muscle, especially with minimal equipment, time under tension within each set and over the entire workout is very important. So without further ado, we're going to go into round 1. Andrea is going to start face down on the yoga mat. So remember, our first component is the isometric shoulder raise. She's going to have her arms, let's go arms out wide, making a big T. And now lift the arms up, squeezing your shoulder blades. All right, so she's not just lifting from the hands. She's actually lifting her extremities by pulling her shoulders back. That way we're engaging trapezius, upper, mid, and lower, posterior delts, and the rhomboids. Her hands, she has great shoulder mobility. Her hands are going much further off the ground than mine would, which is fine. Maybe only get your hands a little bit off the ground, somewhere in between here, perfectly fine, as long as you're engaging your back to lift your arms. Let's go about 5 more seconds. And time. I'm just gonna hop up, swivel around. See, we've got the heavier band as the anchor, the lighter band as her handles. She's going to do a conventional row. Let's scoot back so we've already got tension in the band with arms fully extended. She's going to pull her elbows in close to her body, squeeze her scaps, and return under control. We're going to go 15 to 20 reps. So she's sitting up nice and vertical, keeping her body still. She's not rocking back and forth. When it comes to building muscle, especially when you're trying to target a specific muscle group or region, then you want to stay as strict as possible. It's not a full body dynamic type of workout. You've got a pinpoint, you've got a bullseye, we want to hit the bullseye. Every single row she retracts and protracts. Retracts and protracts. It's a great opportunity with bands to work on her mind-muscle connection. And with every rep, she's squeezing the lats, controlling it back. Squeezing the delts, controlling it. Concentric squeeze, eccentric control. Let's get 5 more. And we're kind of shooting for a 15 to 20 rep range, medium-high volume. After this, she can simply stay in her seated position. She's going to grab the small band, and we're going to do some pronated band pulls. So palms are facing down. We're going to speed these up, fast tempo. Pull the band open in a crow, slingshot. Pull it across the chest. This could be anywhere from 10 to 20 reps. This is really a burnout. So she's gonna keep moving until she can't move anymore. And we would like that to be no more than 20 reps. Pinch, pinch, spread, spread. What you're focusing on here is spreading with the delts and retracting, pulling across your chest with the scaps. Gotta keep your head up a little more. We get, how many was that? 20. All right, so she can stay put or she can move however she wants. Her breath allowance for the recovery is 3 to 8 breaths. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell on this first round, starting now, let's take 3 breaths. So she already got a couple in before I said that, so it's probably like 5. 3 to 8 breaths may seem like a very, very short rest period, and it is. But time under tension is paramount to the quality of this workout. So when it's time for your last breath, make your way back down to the mat during your last breath. We're going to change up the prone shoulder raise variation. So she's going to lift her arms or extend her arms in front of her like she's making a Y. Let's go and start on the ground. Go and rest your forehead on the ground. And now lift the arms up. In this Y raise position, we're focusing a little bit more on a posterior tilt of the scapulas. So she's no longer emphasizing on retraction. Because of the overhead position, she's tilting the scapulas to the posterior, which again, she's much better at than me. I've got kind of screwed up posture from a lot of competitive endurance sports that make me internally rotated. That's why she makes a great model for something like this. Again, up to 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. Let's go about 10 more seconds. Focusing on the posterior scapular tilt. A lot of upper traps and rhomboids here. A lot of posterior delts. 2, 1, and time. We're gonna hop up, spin around. When we're doing a tri-set, you wanna go boom, boom, boom. Exercises in succession with minimal rest. This time we're going to row a little bit wider. About 45 degrees from the body. There we go. So you see how, and again, 15 to 20 reps. See how Andrea's elbows are about 45 degrees from the body. 90 degrees would be a high row, perpendicular from the body. That's what we're gonna do next. Keep your head up, look forward. See how she's staying nice and strict. And you'll see the tempo here on these rows is nice and controlled, whereas on the burnout section, the third component, the band pulls, you really just crank those out with a quick tempo, because at that point, your back is so fatigued, if you don't go fast, then you're not gonna get through it. All right, now we're gonna keep the band pulls constant on each round. So palms down, let's bring hands a little closer together. All right, pull it across the chest, 15 to 20 reps, bang them out. 9, get 15, 10. Remember, if you can't make it to 20, that's good. That means you did a good job in the 2 prior sets. All right, now as soon as you stop, you're done. So we're not gonna stop, rest, pause, and keep going. You go to failure. You want to fail within 15 to 20. Although it could be somewhere between 10 and 20. All right, 5 breaths. Now, if you find yourself just panting out of control, it's still good to work on your recovery breaths, trying to lengthen them out. However, if your heart rate's thumping and you're panting too quickly, rest no more than 30 seconds. When you're not using something like heavy barbells or dumbbells or a heavy external load, you need the rest breaks to be shorter to keep the time under tension higher to support building muscle. Mechanical tension is the name of the game here. All right, this time we're going to do a W raise on round 3, so elbows are bent. And we're going to think about retracting and externally rotating the shoulder to lift the entire forearm off the ground. All right, come on up. All right, so in order to lift her palms up, she's externally rotating the shoulders using external rotators, and in order to lift the entire arm up, she's still retracting, squeezing the traps and rhomboids. Now some people might do prone shoulder raises with their heads up off the ground. That's fine, but to isolate the mid to upper back, putting the head down on the ground. Strain your neck a little bit. A little less of a stimulus on your cervical spine. Let's recommit to lifting the palms up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. We're gonna hop up, spin around. Now we're gonna do a high, wide row, which are a little bit tougher than the rows we've done previously. Palms down, high and wide. Scoot up a little bit. There we go. Elbows will flare out perpendicular to her body. Now let's go scoot back a little bit more. We want to keep tension in the band, so we're just adjusting here. All right. Now you want to remember, keep the palms facing down. We don't want to be tempted to turn this into a face pull where you start to externally rotate and pull the palms up. Keep the palms down. And that's what makes this a wide row instead of a face pull. Three more. Now we've accumulated a good amount of fatigue, so we're not doing quite as many reps on this variation. All right, that's good. All right, let's grab your small band. Now let's spin around for this set just so they can see from the front. Pay attention here to how she's pulling the band across her chest for more tension. All right. Now first rep is tough on this, that's why you gotta go fast. Spreads, then pulls it across the chest. 3 more. And there we go. All right. 5 breaths. So you see how we've got 3 different types of muscle fiber contractions. The first component, the isometric phase, it's about static strength. We're flexing your muscles, keeping them under constant tension without lengthening or shortening the muscles, and without changing the joint angles. That's static strength. The row, the strongest portion, we control the tempo. We control it both directions as much as we can. And then that burnout phase, the third phase, is kind of a cash out. We hit failure. More than likely you're gonna hit failure on that every time. All right, this time we're gonna swing your arms down by your hips. And this is an A raise. Let's go palms facing down. And now she's going to lift her arms up off the ground using a bit more lats this time. So lift the palms up, pull the shoulders back a little more, head down. Again, she's got great shoulder mobility, so her hands might be coming twice as high off the ground as yours or mine especially do. But nonetheless, she's thinking about squeezing the lats on this variation. More than anything, lats. A little bit of triceps and rear delts, but the focal point is the lats. Each shoulder raise variation emphasizes on a different portion of the back, but all of them are mid to upper back. Now, lifting her hands up off the ground with just her mind-muscle connection, focusing on the contraction, can be just as hard as any rowing variation or any variation where you're using an external load. 3, 2, 1, and good. All right, this time we're gonna finish our band pulls with a face pull. So we're actually gonna use the small band for this. Swap this out real quick. Grab the small band. And with a face pull, we're externally rotating, coming up and essentially making a W. Yep. Yeah, so you see how this rowing variation, palms start down and they come up. Band pull or face pulls are shoulder medicine in my opinion. All face pull variations where you're rowing and externally rotating can really be a great corrective exercise for posture, help strengthen your weaknesses, give you good healthy shoulders. Let's crank out 3 more a little faster. 1, 2. As long as we're not getting erratic, you can speed it up just to finish it off. All right, let's grab the red band for your final set of face pulls and crank them out. Now when it's your last set, here's what I like to do. She's gonna keep moving until she hits failure. We're gonna stop, take a breath, a rest pause technique, and then crank out a few more reps. So let's see where she gets. You gotta be honest with her. You gotta hit failure. 1 more. All right, stop there, take one breath. See how she couldn't quite get it. She really hit absolute failure. Taking one breath, she's gonna bring the band back up and then crank out as many reps as she can. Could be one more, could be 7, who knows? Usually it's just a handful. One more. All right, that's a good stopping point. When you fail with good form, when you hit muscular failure, absolute failure especially, without getting sloppy, that's the best case scenario. So that there was 4 rounds of a pulling tri-set with 3 different types of muscle fiber contractions, all different joint angles of your shoulders, and the entire objective here is to build muscle, strengthen your back with little to no equipment. So give it a try, have some fun. See you next time.